Okay, so what was the last topic that we were discussing? Good evening, friends. Sorry, there was a technical glitch. Okay, the meeting ID send was wrong. So thanks for two people, Mageshwar and Shivapriya. Okay, so immediately when they saw the technical error, they mailed me. So it was easy for me to coordinate and quickly resolve the technical issue. Thank you. I think you would have complained, made a complaint in other places also, but since you have sent mail, it was easy on my side to resolve the issue. Okay. Okay. So Article 2 and 3. I think we have discussed the difference between 2 and 3. Today we have to discuss the two conditions. I think we have not discussed the two conditions, right? So today we shall start from discuss the conditions. Okay, so Article 2 is talking about adding a state to India from outside the Union of India. And Article 3 is altering a state boundary within the boundary, Union of India. Okay, altering the state boundary. When I say altering the state boundary within Union of India, it requires two conditions, and it means that increasing the boundaries of the state or decreasing the boundary or bifurcating a state or taking a one part of the state and putting it in another place. Okay, so like that, altering the boundaries of the state involves everything. It even includes changing the name also. For changing the name also, this article only should be followed. So whenever we are attempting to change the boundaries of the state, okay, two conditions is there. One is recommendation of president is required for such a bill. Concerned state must be consulted. Okay. Now there are two types of bill: government bill and private bill. Now I'm trying to explain to you why recommendation of the president is required. Okay, so for that we have to see what is government bill and what is a private bill. The bill introduced by ministers are called as government bill. The bill introduced by ministers are called as government bill. The bill introduced by non-ministers is called as private member bill. Non-ministers. So you may be asking, sir, who are they, sir? I'll just put your diagram here so that you can easily understand. People of India, they elect members to Lok Sabha, right? And Rajya Sabha. You know that Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, we have MPs. These Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha MPs elect a government. So Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. COM means Council of Ministers. So those people who are part of this Council of Ministers are called as ministers or government. If they are initiating a bill, it is called as a government bill. Rest all other MPs, when they introduce the bill, it is called as private member bill. Only MPs can introduce the bill. Private members means don't think that they are private to the parliament. They are outside parliament. They are inside parliament only, but they are private to government, which means they are not part of the government, meaning they are not part of the minister. So a bill introduced by the minister is called a government bill. A bill introduced by MP is called as a private member bill. Now you may have this doubt also. BJP is having 303 MPs in Lok Sabha. Not all 303 MPs will become minister. Okay, only few people will be becoming the minister, right, in the Council of Ministers. Such people, okay, within the Council of Ministers, say for example, 67 people will be there. Remaining BJP members also will be private member because they are not part of the government. So remaining BJP MPs as well as all other political party MPs will be private member. Only those who are part of the ministry, Council of Ministers, they are called as ministers, and the bill introduced by them is called as government bill. Fine. Now, any bill introduced in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha could be a government bill or a private member bill. Anything. It may be a government bill or a private member bill. But please remember that certain bills has to be government bill. For example, altering the boundaries of the state should be a government bill only. Private bill not allowed at all. Whenever the constitution requires a particular law should be government bill only, it will add a condition that recommendation of the president is required. So that is why we are having this condition. Okay, the second condition is there is because to clearly state that the bill, any bill to change the boundaries of the state should be a government bill only. It cannot be a private member bill. That is why recommendation of the president is given as one of the conditions. Very good. Now, how to remember this? Why it should be only government bill? Why it should not be a private member bill? See, polity you should learn like that only. You should ask the question, why such a provision? Simply, if you are memorizing Article 3 says this condition is required, this condition is required, you will forget it the very evening. But if you ask the question, why they are saying government, it should be government bill, why recommendation of the president is required? So first point is, it is the government which administers, it is the government which knows how the state should be demarcated, how the states should be created. Okay, not the private MPs or the other MPs. So only government should introduce the bill. And why private members should not be introducing the bill? There is a lot of demands for smaller states in India. For example, if you see in Maharashtra, a small group of people called as Tulu speaking people, they are asking for a separate state. Coorg, where the river Kaveri is originating, no? So they are also asking for a separate state. In Assam, Bodo land, Bodo people are asking for a separate. In West Bengal, okay, Darjeeling Hills, no, they are asking for Gorkha land, Gorkhas. Okay, Gorkhas are asking for Gorkha land. Likewise, there is a demand for small states. If you see the size of these places, they are all very small, smaller than their constituency, MP constituency. So MP who's contesting in that constituency will promise the people, if you vote for me, I will initiate a bill in the parliament telling that a new state shall be created from our constituency. But can we allow that? If you allow all the people to do that, many private MPs, okay, many MPs will initiate a law to alter the boundaries of the state. Okay, for example, in case of Tirupati and Chennai, or state of Andhra Pradesh wanted Chennai also, Tamil Nadu wanted Tirupati also. Now the MPs of Chennai and MPs of Tirupati, they may be initiating a bill to make alterations according to their wish. So too many bills will be clogging the government. Government cannot work. And it will be one-sided also. Okay, so a small constituency MP, he will be thinking one-sided, only the benefit of his constituency, and say that the boundaries should be altered. But boundaries should be altered keeping in mind the interest of entire country. That can be done only by the government. Okay, so that is why they are keeping a check, telling that any bill to alter the boundaries of the state, okay, within the Union of India, it should come from the recommendation of president. When you say recommendation of president, okay, actually who will recommend to the president? Prime Minister. Prime Minister will go and tell the president. President in turn will recommend to the parliament, and then the law will be taken. So the bill wouldn't be necessarily a government bill. Bill would necessarily be a government bill. Done. Done. Okay. So what is the second condition? Second condition says this: concerned state must be consulted. Why? Why concerned state must be consulted? As I told you, the states in the Union of India, the 28 states, they might not have territorial integrity, but there is a respect to their territorial integrity. Already we saw this, right? There is a respect because they have autonomy. So already if state of Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Kerala is there, if you want to make any changes in their boundaries, you have to go and ask them because they're part of the union. You give equal respect to all the states. So you cannot unilaterally do it. You have to go and ask. But remember, the state, when it is giving the advice through state legislative assembly, it is the state legislative assembly which will be giving the representation for the states. They will give the opinion. Okay. When they're giving the opinion to the government, the president may or may not accept the opinion. I'll repeat. The second condition of Article 3 is concerned state must be consulted. Yes. After consultation, whether their views should be accepted by the central government, not necessarily. 100% is not required. Okay. Why is it so? There must be a reason for this also, right? See, if one state is involved, fine. Okay, what if two states are involved? Suppose they are going to take some districts from Karnataka, some districts from Tamil Nadu, and they're going to create one state, new state. Now you will ask opinion to both the states. What if both the states are giving opposite opinion? There will be a deadlock. The government cannot go ahead with the merger. Okay, so that is why they are saying views will be heard, but it will not be, it is not binding. The word binding means it is not 100% should be accepted. The government has a discretion to do away with the opinion of the state legislative assembly. Now, once again, as I told you already, for example, if you want to take Chennai and give it to Andhra Pradesh, okay, you are asking, Tamil Nadu State Legislative Assembly to give opinion. All the MLAs in Tamil Nadu State Legislative Assembly, they have their important businesses in Chennai. So definitely they will not agree for it. They will send an opinion to the president. No, don't do it. But the central government, thinks that, okay, in order to increase the efficiency of the government, we should make some alterations. So they will think in the all India perspective. Central government will think in all India perspective, whereas state legislative assembly will think for their own state's benefit only. So whenever there's a conflict between interest of a particular state and the interest of the entire country, interest of the country should prevail. So that is why we are saying the concerned state legislative assembly's views is not binding on the president. Okay, done. Now let us talk about the Article 4. Article 4 talks of two things. Wait a minute. Yes. Article 2 talks about two things. Sorry, Article 4. One is whenever you are making any changes based on Article 2 and Article 3, any changes based on Article 2 and Article 3 shall be done by a simple majority. Okay, simple majority. See, well, note making, that day I saw one of the notes of the students. You are writing everything what I'm saying, you are writing everything that has been put in the PPT. See, this and all now, you can just put Article 4, first point, simple majority. That is the key point. So when you see itself, you will remember, okay, any changes that is made in Article 2 and 3 should be done by a simple majority, like that. Okay, so making note, listen to me and then make a crisp note. Then only it will be easy for you to revise. Okay. Now this also, we can easily remember, it is not a special majority, it is a simple majority. Why it is a simple majority? Before 1947, Indian states were demarcated according to the needs of British government to exploit us. So in 1950, when we wrote the constitution, we wanted to redraw the boundaries according to the needs of our country. We want to change the boundaries of the states according to Indian needs. That cannot be done overnight in 1950 itself. So framers of the constitution thought that in the first decade, mainly the central government will be taking the task of redrawing the boundaries. So boundaries of the states will be redrawn based on the need of India by the central government in the first decade of independence. So if central government has to easily do it, it is to be a simple majority. Supposing if it is a special majority, what would have happened? Every time you have to consult with the opposition. Already we saw, no, when we need a special majority, we need the opposition support also, or opposition should abstain. But simple majority means it is like just like passing a law. We also saw the calculation how it is easy to pass something with a simple majority in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. It's very, very easy. So you're making it to the first government of India in the initial years of independence to recreate the boundaries according to Indian needs, India's administrative needs. Okay, so that is why 1956 they would have done the state reorganization. Okay, so many states like Kerala, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, or they were created in the year of 1956 in State Reorganization Act. It was passed by a simple majority. So you are making it easier for the government to do the changes. Okay. Next is Article 4 also says whenever Article 2 and 3 is altered, corresponding changes has to be done. Schedule 1 and Schedule 4. Okay, corresponding. CORs. Corresponding change means related changes. Now, what is Schedule 1 and Schedule 4? Schedule 1 talks about allocation, name and extent of the name and extent. Name and extent of the union and its territory. Just put union. So all the 28 states, its name will be given, and what is its boundary, that also will be given. Okay, that is Schedule 1. What is Schedule 4? Allocation of seats to Rajya Sabha. Allocation of seats to Rajya Sabha. Allocation of seats to Lok Sabha is done by a separate commission called as Delimitation Commission that we will study later. Delimitation Commission. That we will study later when we come to Parliament. But now, whenever new state, for example, when Telangana was created, they created they added the name in Schedule 1 and the boundaries also was mentioned there. According to Schedule 4, they allocated the seats to Rajya Sabha also. For Telangana, how many seats they mentioned. So whenever you are making changes in Article 2 and 3, two things must be kept in mind according to Article 4. One is it must be done through a simple majority. Second is necessary changes should be made in Schedule 1 and Schedule 4. Okay. Now, states are demanded for political reasons. Telangana was created for political reasons because 10 years, Congress came to rule in 2004. Till 2014, they ruled. They promised Telangana will be created in 2004 itself, but they did not do so till 2014. Just before the elections, they did it for electoral gains. Likewise, BJP also in the year 2000, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh and Uttarakhand was created because they thought if these states were created, they will be able to win over the states. Because the districts earlier in Bihar even now, it is difficult for BJP to win. Jharkhand was part of Bihar, and Jharkhand alone, BJP had a good support because BJP is the tribal support the BJP. The tribal belt has a support for the Bharatiya Janata Party. So they split it in order to get political power. Okay. Now I'll tell you, Not only for political power, there are other reasons. People were demanding, administrative reasons were also there. Okay, so they were proper and honest reasons also, but the timing, was actually political. So a question came forward, okay, whether there must be a change. Actually, in Telangana was created also State Legislative Assembly of Andhra Pradesh. State Legislative Assembly of Andhra Pradesh gave opinion not to bifurcate Andhra Pradesh, not to create Telangana, but central government went ahead and created Telangana. So that is why political experts started to say the state legislative assembly's view should be binding. As of now, it is not binding, but it should be made binding. Okay, so if it is made binding, then we may expect that the government is not acting arbitrarily. In the beginning years, first 10 years, okay, you have to redraw the boundaries of the state properly. So extraordinary power was given to the central government. Now, why should we continue the same thing? State legislative assembly's view should be made binding on the president. So this is what the political people is talking. So Main's question is discuss the need for, or they may ask examine the need for. Let's go for this question like this, okay, because study. Making the state's view binding. Okay, so the question shall be like examine the need for making the state's view under Article 3 binding on the president. Now, whenever the keyword examine is coming, okay, just remember that you are in an examination hall and you are writing answer. After writing answer, you will go and give it to the faculty, right? Please evaluate the paper for me, or please examine the paper for me. Why you are giving the paper? To check whether whatever you have written is correct or wrong, right? Whether whatever you have written is relevant or not. Okay, for that only you are writing the answers. Okay, so what is examining? If I am evaluating your paper, I am examining your paper. It means that after reading the paper entirely, your answer entirely, I'll be saying whether it is correct or wrong. Okay, so now examine the need for making of state's view under Article 3 binding on the president is why we should make the state's view binding, and what are the reasons why we should not make make the state's view binding. Both you have to argue and you have to give a conclusion. Okay, because like examining part, finally marks will be awarded. 10 marks the question is asked. I'll evaluate the answer and give you the marks. Say 6 marks, 7 marks, or 5 marks, whatever it is, I'll be giving it to you. So likewise, in examine question, you have to conclude. You have to talk both sides and conclude. Okay, so you have to say what is the need for making Article 3 binding, and why in Article 3 it should not be binding. Now, having said that there is a need for making the Article 3 binding, you have assessed the problem, so you have to give solution in the conclusion. So examine, you need to conclude. Very important. You should give your opinion strongly at the end in conclusion, after discussing both sides. So analyze question, I told you already, right? You have to create subtopics and relate the subtopic to the main topic. In examine question, remember, you have to talk both sides, okay, for and against the statement, and then give conclusion. That's all. Okay. For and against the statement or the sentence, and then conclude, give your opinion, give your solution. Usually we, in UPSC mains answer, we will giving conclusion for even analyze questions also. Okay, but in examine question, if conclusion is not there, they will reduce your marks. Instead of giving 6, they'll put 4. Even if your arguments on both sides is correct, if you're not taking a stand, if you're not giving a conclusion, they will reduce your mark by 2 marks. But in analyze question, other questions where there you need not have conclusion, but still you conclude, it is a value addition, that's all. Even if conclusion is not there, they won't penalize you. But in examine question, they will expect you to conclude. Okay, just imagine the word examine. As a teacher would examine the answer, you have to examine the statement. What is examining? Whether that's correct statement or wrong statement. What is correct? What is wrong? So in some points will be correct, some points will be wrong. All will be examined, right? Likewise, you have to check with both the sides and then conclude. So as I told you, what is the need for making Article 3 binding on the president? Because there is a chance that Article 3 may be misused to bifurcate the states for political reasons. Now, I gave you example of Congress, BJP, Telangana, Jharkhand and all. You should not write in the paper. You should not write that in paper. Okay, because you're accusing the political parties. Okay, so if the person belonging to opposite party is going to correct your paper, it will be difficult for you. Marks you will not get. So just put there is a chance for the ruling party to make use of misuse Article 3 for political reasons, for their political advantage, like in winning the election, okay, or weakening the opposition party, weakening the regional parties. Okay, so for these political reasons they can do. Sometimes central government also can go against the will of the people. So in case of Andhra Pradesh, majority of people of Andhra Pradesh did not want bifurcation. Majority of the people did not want bifurcation. So we can say that, the government may go against the people's will. And third point, what you can say is, in the 1950s, states has to be reorganized rapidly. So we said state legislative assemblies view is not binding because already the states were created by British for their own needs. But now some consolidation has taken place, right? After 70 years of independence, after many redrawing of the boundaries, now almost people are satisfied with their boundaries of the state. Okay, so we don't contest. Usually most of the states, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh and all, after creation of Telangana also, they're satisfied, okay, this is our state. There is no question. So when such stability has arrived, why should we still keep state legislative assembly not binding on the president? It should be converted to be binding. Okay, so these are the points for why Article 3 should be made binding on the president. Now, why it should not be made, that points also you should give. What if 2 states is involved? Same point. Okay. And the second point is states speak in their own interest, not the country's interest. And moreover, what if the group which is claiming for a new state is a minority? For example, in the case of Telangana people were minority in the state of Andhra Pradesh. There are 2 other regions, coastal Andhra and Rayalaseema, these 2 spaces where people are huge in population. Okay, so automatically when the state legislative assembly is representing, you represent the majority view, minority view will not be here. And Telangana was asking for a separate state because they were not able to get representation in the state legislative assembly. Okay, so you can write that, in certain cases, minorities in a particular, minority means numerically less numbers in a particular state, their voice may not be heard. So now who will be the arbitrator or who will be the judge of the needs of all the people? Central government. So central government should be given. And most important point is you have to conclude that the state reorganization is not an event, it is a process. Reorganizing the states is not an event, it is a process. So even now, so state organization is not a process. Even now, there needs to be reorganization. For example, Nagaland is asking for Greater Nagaland. Current affairs. Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, reorganization should be done. Okay, and Uttar Pradesh is too huge, so they are asking for creating 4 states out of Uttar Pradesh. Okay, so every time when there is a general election, there will be a communal riot in Uttar Pradesh to polarize people. Why? Because if you win a considerable amount of seats in UP, you will be forming the government, whichever political party. They say that road to Delhi is through Lucknow. The road to Delhi is through Lucknow. Geographically true, politically also true, which means when you win most number of MP seats, because UP has 80 seats, Kerala 9 seats, okay, Tamil Nadu 38, okay, but still see UP huge 80 seats. If you get single-handedly, you get majority in all throughout the country. So the reorganization process is not over. It is still going on. So states legislative assemblies views should not be binding. Okay, we have examined. Okay, we have examined, but there is still a problem, right? We have strongly argued that that state Article 3 should not be made binding. So you also will conclude telling that Article 3 should not be made binding on the president, so that the same provision remain. But you have talked about the problem in the beginning, so you have to give solution for that problem. Okay, so you can say that instead of making changes in Article 3, we can change in Article 4. We can say that whenever there is a alteration of boundaries within the states, it shall be done by a special majority, not a simple majority. When you say special majority, opposition also will come, right? So central government cannot misuse Article 3 for political reasons. They have to create consensus with opposition party, and then only they should be creating. So we can give a solution that Article 4 may be changed from simple majority to special majority. See, as you read polity, you will be able to answer like this. Some of you in last class were asking, sir, where are these points? These points comes out of experience. Okay, continuous reading. Okay, I am giving you the points. It will come to you also. Okay, within a year. Okay, so don't worry, keep reading with hope. So as of now, if you are concentrating in the structure presentation, then it is fine. See, for there is some doubt, okay, telling that simple majority is in parliament or state legislative assembly. See, for redrawing the boundaries of the state, only parliament. State law is not required, only parliament. In parliament, it is simple majority, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. State legislative assembly is not involved. Okay, and thanks for Maheshwar. Okay, so he's given this information, reminded me. Tomorrow, actually November 1st, 1956 only, the State Reorganization Act came into force. We're talking about state reorganization, no? So state of Kerala, Karnataka was formed. Okay, so it was in the year 1956, these 2 states were formed out of Madras province. Thanks for that, Mageshwar. Okay. Good. Okay. So I think, now you will be able to handle this examine question. See, every question needs some here and there small makeups, but basic structures will remain same. Okay, so if you follow a basic structure for all the key questions, you won't be thinking how to approach the question. Directly you can go ahead. Okay, so now whatever is available, with that practice the question. Today itself, once again, close down all your notebook after the class, and then take a sheet of paper, and within 1 page, try to write answer for this. Okay, then open the notebook and see which points you are able to remember, which points you have forgotten. Okay, and whether you are able to maintain the structure, the presentation part, whether you are doing it correctly, check with it. Whether you have spoken for, against, concluded, and in conclusion you have told your stand as well as conclusion, as well as solution for the problem. Okay, fine, that's fine. So we have done with this part 1 of the Constitution, Union and its territory. Okay, let us now enter into citizenship. Okay, citizenship. Before going to see the definition of citizenship, I just want some of you to raise your hand. Raise your hand. Okay, and tell me what is the difference between subject and the citizen. Okay, so sometimes we call subjects of a country, sometimes we call citizens of a country. Shivapriya has raised the hand. Yes, you can unmute and speak, Shivapriya.
Good evening, sir. Sir, can you hear me, sir? Hello?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, sir. Sir, subjects means they will not have any rights, sir. But citizens will have rights.
What right? Exactly what right? You're correct. And
Fundamental rights, can we say that they can protect themselves from the government?
okay, you're a PSR student, no? I saw your mail today. You're a PSR.
Sorry, sir?
You're a political science
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
more than fundamental right. Yeah, fundamental right also, but some fundamental rights is available for foreigners also. So we should say that subjects means they won't participate in the administration. They are subjected to the rule. So before 1950, we were subjects of the British Empire. We cannot participate in the administration. But after 1950, all are citizens of India, which means we can participate in the administration. So that is the main difference between citizenship and subject. Okay, subject is no political rights. No political rights. Very important. So for a citizen, he has the political rights, which means he can take part in the politics. He can have right to vote. He can stand in the election. He can become an IAS officer, IPS officer, and administer this country. Now, what does the citizen have? What the foreigners will not have? Same. Citizen will have political rights. Foreigners will not have political rights. Foreigners cannot buy property also. So citizens can buy property. So they have property rights. Okay, so citizens have political rights as well as property rights. They have political rights as well as property rights. Okay. Now, what is the relation between the citizen and the state? So I'll just draw a diagram, okay, to make you understand the relation between the citizen and the state. Okay. So the citizen, okay, first the state provides for security to the citizen, physical security as well as welfare. When the citizen, he has to give back allegiance to the state and also support to the state. Citizen has to give allegiance and support to the state. What means the citizen has to give support to the state? Okay, there are two ways, two things. That is, he has to give support by paying tax, and also he should support by abiding the law. Okay, abide, allegiance, and then So that is the relation between the citizen and state. What do you mean by allegiance? Allegiance means loyalty. The word allegiance means loyalty. If somebody just raised the hand, okay, you can speak. Who's this? 200-6366. I think it's earlier on. Okay.
Can I unmute, sir? Or sorry, can I mute, sir?
Okay. Any doubts in this? Any doubts? Okay. So now why we had to talk about the relationship by state and citizen, I'll tell you later. So right now, what is the salient feature of Indian citizenship? It is the salient feature of Indian citizenship is a single citizen. Single citizenship means no double citizenship, no dual citizenship. Before seeing this explanation, give me 1 minute time. And you need to put some eye drops. Okay. So have some problem in my eyes. So give me just 1 minute. I'll come back and then explain this silent feature. Okay. Just 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay. Thank you. So the salient feature, okay, of Indian Constitution, Indian citizenship is single citizenship, which means no double citizenship or dual. Okay. In some countries, there will be citizenship for the country as well as state. So if we go to USA, you will be a citizen of United States of America and as well as you will be citizen of one particular state. But in case of India, we have only one citizen, that is we are all citizens of India. We don't have citizenship for states. Why is that? Supposing if you're giving citizenship for states, like citizen of Tamil Nadu, citizen of Karnataka, Kerala, UP, etc. What will happen is, there will be secondary grade treatment of citizens of our country in other states. Supposing a person moves from one state to another, so another state will be treated as a secondary grade citizen. So that will be not fine. Even now, we have various measures, various aspects in which one state people is given more preference compared to the outsiders. For example, ration card. That is why one nation, one ration they are speaking about. When this corona epidemic took place, what happened is migrant workers were not supported by the ration system of the respective states. That is because when you move from one state to another state for a temporary period of time, you cannot avail certain benefits of the government. You should be a permanent resident of the state. Okay, so they're slowly changing that. But the point I'm trying to stress is if you have citizenship for each state, once again, the divisions between our country will be very sharp. So national integration will be a question. Okay, national integration will be a question. So that is the reason why we don't have double citizenship. Now, what is dual citizenship? Dual citizenship means a person is a citizen of one country. At the same time, he will be citizen of another country also. Say, for example, USA's case. Many of the bureaucrats, many of the lawmakers, judiciary and all, they are Jews, and most of the Jews in USA is US citizen as well as citizen of Israel. They are having dual citizenship. There's a historical reason for that. And some European countries and USA also have this double citizenship. Okay, so people belonging to two countries. Now, what is the problem of dual citizenship? If there is a conflict between two countries in which you are citizens, where you will show the allegiance, where you will show loyalty. Because I told you the connect of citizen and the state is citizen should be loyal to its state, paying allegiance to the state, right? Loyalty to the state. Now, if there are two masters, how can be one person loyal to two people at the same time, two countries at the same time? Very difficult. Okay. What if there is a cricket match between two countries? Okay, which country will be supporting? It's a big deal. Okay, so likewise, I'm just giving a small trivial example, but when war and other things are taking place, things will be very difficult. So India, we have clearly said no dual citizenship. And moreover, US policy, mainly US policy, is influenced by the Jews who are also citizens of Israel. Now, in the US perspective, it has to make peace with Syria, it has to make peace with Iran. It has to ensure that the regional stability of Middle East is restored. Okay, but USA is creating instability in Syria as well as in Turkey, as well as in Iran. It's because if Iran and Syria become stable, then it will be dangerous for Israel. Because a stable Iran, stable Syria would want to create a new Palestine, or a solid Palestine, okay, independent Palestine, which Israel doesn't want. And Israel is a very small country. If it has to survive, it has to keep its neighbors in problem. So they are using their influence with USA in order to keep the game in Middle East alive. So what happens? Dual citizenship results in a situation where even in US foreign policy is influenced for the interest of other country. We cannot allow that. Okay. So that is why in India we say no dual citizenship. We will follow only single citizenship. Okay, done. Now we have to talk about the articles. Okay, what are the article numbers in the citizenship chapter? Okay, the citizenship chapter article numbers are article 5 to 11. This is part 2. See, in citizenship, no article numbers are not important. If you remember the ideas, okay, so that itself is enough. Just if you know it is citizenship is part 2, that is enough. Yes. Now there are two documents which talks about criteria for citizenship. Okay, Constitution of India speaks about who are all citizens in 1950, who became citizens at the start of the republic, at the start of the country. Okay, who became the citizen. 1950. After 1950, who will get Indian citizenship, who will not get Indian citizenship, is spoken in the Citizenship Act of 1955. Okay, so Constitution of India specifically talks about 1950 only. What are the criteria? Domicile. Okay, domicile. And next point is registration. Registration. And then migration. Okay, domicile, registration, and migration. I'll give you separate time for asking doubts. Okay, let me complete. Okay. Now, what is domicile? Domicile means permanent resident. Domicile means permanent resident. So those people who were permanently residing in India at the time of independence, the time of commencing of the constitution, they were granted Indian citizenship. But Britishers are there. You know, some of the officers, British officers, they did not leave India. They stayed back in India. Because their property was here, they're familiar to this country, so they wanted to live here. But if you go and ask them which one is the motherland, okay, what is your motherland? Okay, so they will be saying that UK is their motherland. So should we give citizenship for them also? No. So that is why the court has clarified domicile in India means intended permanent residence. Intended permanent residence. Okay, it is intended permanent residence. So not only you should be a permanent resident in India, you have to show the intention that you want to make India as the motherland for you as well as future generations. Then only you will be given Indian citizenship under domicile. Okay. So those other people, okay, if you are a normal Indian citizen, no contest. But if some foreigner who have settled in India, okay, if they are asking for Indian citizenship, the court or the government will ask, what about your intention? Whether you want to make India as your motherland for you as well as future generation. If the person says yes, then they'll grant citizenship for that person also. But this is applicable only for the year 1950. Then registration. Registration. What do we mean by registration? Those Indians who left India before independence, and when India is free, they want to come and join the Indian Union. See, actually, they would have left India because India was under British control. There is no life chances. So now India is free. They are willing to come back and stay in India. They have to be granted Indian citizenship. Okay. So registration is the people who have left India before independence and who wants to register themselves for India citizenship. Then we have next point, migration. Migration is for those people like who migrated from Pakistan to India, or those who migrated from India to Pakistan and returned back to India. So these migrant workers, sorry, not migrant workers, migrated people, those who have come from Pakistan, they can register as Indians through the process of migration. Okay, so that is the point. Domicile, registration, and migration. Any doubts in this? Okay, now we have to talk about the Citizenship Act. Yes, migration is only from Pakistan. If people are coming from other country, they should have had Indian origin. Then if they're returning to country, then they can register. Okay. So the Citizenship Act of 1955 talks about how one can acquire Indian citizenship and how one will lose their citizenship. Okay, so acquisition and loss. Acquisition, okay, of citizenship. Okay, so by birth, by descent, by descent. By registration, by naturalization, incorporation of territory. By birth, by descent, by registration, by naturalization, by incorporation of territory. Okay. So the world over, okay, there are two principles under which citizenship is granted. Okay, one is by just solely. Sorry means soil. Just sorry means by birth. Okay, so if you are born inside a country, you will be granted the citizenship of that country. It's called as by birth. Then just sanguine, there is another concept, just sanguine. Okay, just sanguine means by blood, by descent, through bloodline. If your parents are belonging to a particular country, the child will be given citizenship of the parents' country. So if parents are Indians, the child also will be given Indian citizenship. That is called as descent. Just solely and just sanguine. Okay. Now, in India, we have to clearly see these concepts one by one. Okay, by birth, by descent, by registration, by naturalization, and all. Yes. Supposing a child is born in India. Okay. Whether the child can be given Indian citizenship? Yes. Now, what about the parenthood? Supposing there are two parents, A and B. I should say a parent. Okay, A and B are parents. They are coming to India Okay, A and B belongs to France. A and B belongs to France. They come to India, and in India, a child C is born. Now, whether this child is eligible for Indian citizenship, yes, it is eligible for Indian citizenship until 1986. Till 1986, the child was eligible. But imagine that A and B belonging to France, they will want their child to get French citizenship, not Indian citizenship. So there is a case where the child may have dual citizenship, one in India, another in France. Okay, dual citizenship in both places. Okay, one in India and another in France. Now, in 1986, they are making an amendment and clearly stating when a child C is born within India, either of the parents should be Indians. Then only the child will get citizenship. Either of the parents should be Indians. Okay. So now what has happened by birth criteria? Okay. The two things is the child should be born within India. Either of the parents should be Indians. Either means any one of the parent, either father or mother should be an Indian. So what they're doing is they're fusing the concept of birth and descent. Till 1986, purely by birth, they were giving the citizenship. But foreigners, when they get their children in India, the children of foreigners born in India, they will be getting citizenship. See, just you have to think, imagine in terms of migrants. 1980s is the time, when we had a lot of migrants from Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. So we have migrants from Sri Lanka, or sometimes there may be refugees also, or illegal migrants also. When the children is born in India, you have to directly grant Indian citizenship to them. Later on, the parents also will claim, I want citizenship. So to avoid this problem, they said, when a child is born within India, it may be granted Indian citizenship only if either of the parents is Indian citizens. Okay, done. So these two ideas. Now what happened is, they are saying any one of the parents should be Indian. So just let us discuss another scenario. Say a person from Bangladesh is coming into India as an illegal migrant. Is coming as an illegal migrant inside India, and a child C is born. Okay, because this Bangladesh person, imagine he is marrying an Indian woman, and child C is born. Now, according to the 1986 amendment to the Citizenship Act, one of the parent, the mother is an Indian, so the child is eligible for Indian citizenship. But there was a big problem, but people from Bangladesh keep on entering into India as illegal migrants. They married Indian women and children were born to them. First, the children will be granted citizenship. Now, this person B, who's an illegal migrant, will go to the government of India and say, see, my wife is an Indian, my child is an Indian. I also should be given Indian citizenship on humanitarian ground. So now to disincentivize the illegal migrants, in 2004, we are making an amendment and saying that if one of the parent is Indian, another parent is a foreigner, the foreigner should not be a legal migrant. The foreigner should not be a illegal migrant. Okay, so who is a legal migrant? A legal migrant is one who has a valid ID card to stay in India. It's a valid ID card to stay in India. That may be visa, okay, or permanent residential certificate, or refugee card also. So refugees, when they enter into India, they enter as illegal migrant, but once a refugee card is given, they become a legal migrant. Okay, so refugees are different and illegal migrants are different. One more difference between refugee and illegal migrants are refugees are politically persecuted in their country of residence. They are being thrown out. Then even their life is in danger. But illegal migrants, no, they come to India for economic reasons. They migrate for economic reasons, meaning they want to earn more, or they feel that in their country they are not able to get any livelihood job. Okay, so they may travel and come to the other parts. Okay, fine. So these are the three things you must remember. First is by birth alone, they were given citizenship till 1986. After 1986, birth as well as descent, either of the parents should be Indians. Third point is in 2004, if one of the parent is Indian, one of the parent is foreigner, the foreigner should not be an illegal migrant. Foreigner should not be an illegal migrant. Okay. So now, my dear students, please enable your videos. No, once again, feels like talking with monitor. Okay. Next is by descent. By descent. See, by birth is for child born within India. By descent is for children who are born outside India. What about the status of children born outside India? Can they be given Indian citizenship? Yes, they can be given Indian citizenship provided either of the sorry. First point, born outside India. Whether they can be given Indian citizenship, they can be given Indian citizenship if father is an Indian. Till 1992. Okay, till 1992, father is an Indian. If mother is an Indian, citizenship will not be granted for that child. I'll demonstrate it. Okay. Suppose in India, there is a woman, I. She travels to Germany. Okay. Germany. And in Germany, a child C is born. Okay. Now the child is born outside India. It is born in Germany. Whether it can get citizenship, they will say, wow, who is the father? The father is a German. Okay, only the mother is an Indian. So till 1992, such cases, the child will not receive Indian citizenship. But it is discriminatory, right? Discrimination between men and women. Okay, so we changed the law in 1992 and said that any child which is born outside India, okay, will be getting Indian citizenship. Okay, will be getting Indian citizenship provided either of the parents are Indian. Okay, so now in this case, same case, let us take after 1992, Indian woman is traveling to Germany. She is traveling to Germany, and in Germany she marries a German guy, and a child C is born. The child C is born. Okay, so what is the status now? Whether the child will get Indian citizenship or not? Yes, even though the mother is an Indian, 1992 law said if either one of the parents should be Indian. So if mother is Indian, the child will be granted Indian citizenship. Any doubts so far? Okay, so in order to move next, if you have doubts, I have to clarify here. Otherwise, the next point you will not understand. Till here, I think you guys are okay, right? Is there any doubt? Okay, I assume that there is no doubt because I'm not getting any messages here. I'll continue. Now, let us take the same case. Let us take the same case where Indian woman is traveling to Germany and a child C is born in Germany. Now the child, his father is a German, mother is an Indian. So the child is eligible for both German citizenship as well as Indian citizenship. Okay. It is eligible for both German and Indian citizenship. Now in India, there's no dual citizenship, right? And there is a chance they may take both citizenship. Okay, they may take both citizenship of India and Germany. To avoid this, in 2004, we are making a small change in the law. In 2004, we are making an amendment. Okay. In that amendment, we are telling the child born outside India can be granted Indian citizenship if either of the parents are Indian, as well as they have to register within 1 year in Indian embassy. I'll add a point. They have to register themselves. Register themselves, okay, in Indian embassy. Okay. What do we mean by this? Why? No, because if they are not registering in Indian embassy, it means that they have taken up the citizenship of Germany. If they want Indian citizenship, they have to come and tell the Indian embassy that we want to remain as the Indian citizen. And see, it's one more important point that you must remember. They have to give an affidavit. They have to give an affidavit. What is an affidavit? An affidavit is a legal statement. Okay. A legal statement recognized by court of law. Now, in that statement, they have to say that they have not received the citizenship of any other country. Then only Indian citizenship will be granted. Now, you may ask a question, sir, what if they are lying in the affidavit? They have actually got the German citizenship and they want Indian citizenship also. There is a chance for them to lie, right? That is why we are saying the parent should submit an affidavit. If you are lying in an affidavit, you can be imprisoned up to 2 years in jail. Okay, that is a criminal act called as perjury. If you are lying in an affidavit, court statement, you can be imprisoned for 2 years. It's a criminal act. So for the fear of 2 years of imprisonment, anybody who gives a statement in the court of law would give a correct statement only. Okay, so legal statement is recognized by court of law. Any doubts here? Now, what if they miss this 1 year time period? What if they miss this 1 year time period? They have to make a special petition to the Ministry of External Affairs. If the government decides, then the citizenship will be granted. Now you may be thinking, what is the difference here? Right? So I'll tell you the scenario again. What happens is the child is born outside India, same case. Okay. Indian woman going to Germany. In Germany, a child is born. The couple forgets to register the birth of the child in India within 1 year. They did not come to the Indian embassy. After 1 year only, they come to know about this rule. Okay. Now what they have to do, they have to apply it to the Ministry of External Affairs, and only if the government desires, the child may be granted citizenship. The difference is if the parents register within 1 year, the citizenship is automatic. The citizenship is automatic, meaning government cannot decide whether to give citizenship or not. The child is eligible, they have to just register the citizenship. The government cannot decide whether the child should be given the citizenship or not. But if 1 year is over, then government can decide. Government will check the background whether the child has got citizenship somewhere else, why they are suddenly coming and asking for Indian citizenship, why at birth they did not intend to get Indian citizenship. So all these things will be analyzed, and then the government of India will say whether I'm granting citizenship or not. Wait, I'll give you time to ask your doubts. At that time, you can raise your hand. Now, imagine this. The same case, where an Indian woman goes to Germany and a child C is born. They are taking German citizenship. Assume that they are taking German citizenship. But the child grows. After 18 years, the child thinks that I want Indian citizenship only. My parents have chosen wrongly. So until 18 years, whatever is there for children, parents only has to decide. After 18 years, the children can decide for themselves. So an Indian, that person wants to be an Indian. C wants to be Indian. Is there any option? Yes. After 18 years, okay, from the 18th birthday till 6 months, a time period will be given. In that time, the person C should come to India or come to Indian embassy and register himself as Indian citizen. So the parents may take away the Indian citizenship. They may prefer German, but if that person wants Indian citizenship, the age of 18, after the age of 18, within 6 months of the age of 18, they can take up the Indian citizenship. Okay, any doubts in this? Any doubts? Yeah, now you can ask doubts and clarify. I think Manju, I've answered your question just now. Okay, so this is for the child only. Okay, so till now we are talking about newborn babies, how they'll get citizenship. Okay, refugees are legal migrants in India. So a refugee marry an Indian and a child is born, that child will get Indian citizenship. But the refugee, in order to get Indian citizenship, should satisfy the next condition, registration, naturalization, and all. Okay, we will discuss about that. Okay, so where refugee is coming, he or she cannot get Indian citizenship directly. But when he marries an Indian and a child is born, the child can get Indian citizenship because refugee is a legal migrant. He has the permission to stay in India. Okay, any doubts? Yes, Shivapriya, you can unmute and speak.
Good evening, sir. Sir, my doubt is if means I am an Indian and I'm going to US and I'm getting green card. So whether Indian government will be able to track that I'm getting there, so dual citizenship should be avoided.
Nowadays, you can track. We have a lot of technology. We have
So,
connectivity.
sorry, sir.
We have right now in the present age. We can easily do that. Okay, that's not a big deal. This laws and all enacted in 1950s when we did not have internet and instant technology and all, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How easily they'll track. Earlier, it is difficult to track. But now it is easy to track whether a person has got the citizenship of other country or not. Easily.
Okay, sir. So legally, if we should get detached from India, and then only we should ask for green card there.
Green card is a long-term visa in USA. Short-term visa is called as visa. Okay, for a long time when you are staying in another country, it is called as a permanent residential certificate, PRC. permanent residential certificate. In USA, they call it as green card. So a person holding green card in USA can hold on to Indian citizenship.
Okay, sir. So
But
citizenship is different, green card is different.
right, green card is the last step in USA before you get the US citizenship. The last step. You are a green card holder. The next consequent step is after 5 years or 6 years of holding the green card, you may be getting the US citizenship.
Okay, sir. So first, after getting green card, then we have to detach from India. Then only we can apply for US citizenship to avoid the problems in India.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. That's all, sir.
Even if you are not informing India and getting the citizenship of some other country, Indian citizenship will be automatically terminated. The government will terminate your citizenship.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Got it, sir. Thank you.
Why the affidavit should be submitted? The affidavit should be submitted because the to because the parents has to claim that they have not uh, took the citizenship of any other country. They want only Indian citizenship. Okay, so affidavit people generally won't like. That is why there is a mandate to submit the affidavit. Okay, so we have spoken about by birth and by descent. Okay, now we'll take a short break, 5 minutes exactly, and then we shall discuss by registration, naturalization, etc. The next point and all. Okay. See, by birth and by descent is both are for newborn babies. You must remember. When a child is born, a child's citizenship status can be determined by birth and by descent. Newborn. For an adults, okay, or a child is born, it is a citizen of some other country. Now that citizen of some other country wants to get Indian citizenship. Then it is by registration and naturalization. By registration and naturalization. Okay, fine. Now, one more point you must remember for prelims examination: by descent and by birth is automatic and mandatory. Which means automatically the child is eligible if they fulfill the criteria, they're eligible, and 100% the government has to give their citizenship. 100% the government has to give this citizenship. The government cannot say, I will not give citizenship like that. It is mandatory. Now, by registration and naturalization, these two, by registration and naturalization, it requires a separate order. Government should give separate order. It's not automatic, and it is discretionary. Government may choose to give you the citizenship or not. When you apply for registration naturalization, it's government's decision. Government may give citizenship, may not give citizenship. Okay. Are you able to understand this? Okay. Now, incorporation of territory, I'll tell you later. Right now, you must know the difference between birth descent and registration and naturalization. Okay. Now, naturalization. What do we understand by them? Registration is for those people who are having Indian connect. Okay. Naturalization is for complete foreigners. Okay. I'll rewrite it. The spelling. Complete foreigners. Okay. So when I say Indian connect, their forefathers might have been Indian, their fathers might have been Indian. Okay. Or they are married to an Indian. Okay. So likewise, there is some kind of connection with India. Naturalization is for a complete foreigner, which means they have no relation with India, no origin. They are completely foreign in origin, but still they want to become Indian citizens. They can do by naturalization. Now, why this difference? Getting citizenship through registration is easy. Getting citizenship through registration is easy, but by getting citizenship by naturalization is quite tougher. The conditions are tougher. For example, if you have to stay in India for 7 years in order to get yourself registered as Indian, under naturalization, you have to stay in India for 14 years. Then only you can get Indian citizenship. 14 long years. For registration, 7 years. Naturalization, 14 years. There are many other provisions is there. Okay. You just read them, go through them, but it's not important for the prelims examination. Okay. So don't waste time. You can skip that area. Okay. The conditions under registration and naturalization in book, you can skip that area and read other things. So far in prelims examination, they have not asked question from the citizenship chapter. Okay, because citizenship 1950, what is there in the constitution is done that time. And citizenship act is an act. Usually they don't ask question in the act. If at all they're asking question on any act, that will be from current affairs. So if citizenship act is in current affairs, okay, then you can read it. That amended part alone. Okay. So in case of now, there's a recent amendment, 2019 amendment, I'll talk about it. Okay. So in that, what is there and what is NRC, those things we will see. Okay. But first we will complete what is citizenship, how they acquire and how the citizenship is lost. Okay. Done. So now incorporation of territory. What do you mean by incorporation of territory? which means supposing if India is adjoining a territory, say for example, Bangladesh taken into India as the 29th state, the people living in that area will be granted Indian citizenship directly, automatically. Okay. And it is not a discretion of the government. It is a discretion of the people to accept the citizenship. See, incorporation of territory is automatic. That is, if India is acquiring any territory, the people living in that territory has to be given Indian citizenship directly. Okay. So let us see the case, one case. Okay. So India and Bangladesh. Now there were small areas within Bangladesh, which is actually India. And within India, in West Bengal, Assam and other states, small areas is belonging to Bangladesh. Because of partition, no? Okay, the British gave opportunity for all the princely states to decide either to join India or Pakistan. So some people, even though they fall under the territory within India, they declared that they want to join Pakistan. So some areas within India are Bangladesh, some areas within Bangladesh are India. These are called as enclaves. We call these areas enclave. Call these areas as enclave. So what do you mean by an enclave? An enclave is a territory which is surrounded by foreign territory. Enclave is a territory which is surrounded by foreign territory. Enclave is a territory which is surrounded by a foreign territory. Now, based on 100th Constitutional Amendment Act, we have exchanged the enclaves. India and Bangladesh have exchanged this. So these territories which were Bangladesh was taken by India, and these territories which belong to India inside Bangladesh was given to Bangladesh itself. Because if you see these small areas, they will be small area. Okay. If you have been to Annanagar, no, it's just size of Annanagar in Chennai. That's all. Very small area. Okay. So people living here has to cross international border for their day-to-day affairs, even for going for shopping or getting some basic needs for them. They have to travel across the border. Most of the people living here are cattle grazers. We know that the border area between Bangladesh and India, okay, pastoral community is largely located. Okay, and that is one of the problem. Okay, in the name of cattle are smuggled between India and Bangladesh large scale. Okay, in the name of cattle grazing also some people, illegal immigrants intrude inside India. Okay, so they are a pastoral community. So for grazing land, for showing grass for their cattle, they have to cross the border. So every day they were subjected to problems. So India and Bangladesh decided, okay, let us resolve it at one go. Let us resolve the boundary dispute. Like, you know, I will give my territory's claim in your territory. You give your claim in Indian territory. In fact, Bangladesh gained more territory, but however, it is for easy purposes, easy management. No, we gave it. Now, those people who are living in these areas, no, I'm just shading those areas. Okay, they are Bangladeshis, but now it is merged with India. We are taking this area into India, which belongs to Bangladesh. So the people living in this area will be granted Indian citizenship. That is what we call as citizenship by incorporation of a territory. We have taken a territory from Bangladesh, people inside will be granted Indian citizenship automatically. Government cannot use this discretion, but these people here may say, I will retain Bangladeshi citizenship itself. They may take, may not take Indian citizenship. By incorporation of territory, the government has to give it to the people, but it is the people living there to decide. Now you may be asking, sir, what these people will do, whether they have to go back to Bangladesh because they are retaining Bangladesh citizenship. No need. Okay, they can retain their Bangladeshi citizenship, but still they can live inside India with the permission of India. They will seek a long-term visa. So India will grant them PRC, permanent residential certificate. So they will be residing in India with PRC while holding on to the Bangladeshi citizenship. See, the logic is they would have grown up of Bangladeshi, so they will feel that they are belonging to Bangladesh. But right now they cannot shift to Bangladesh because all their house, land, familiar area, relatives are all existing in this territory. So they will not want to leave this territory, but at the same time retain Bangladesh citizenship. It is their choice. And some of them, will say, no, I will take Indian citizenship itself because anyway, permanently we are going to stay here. So it's better we take Indian citizenship. Okay. They can do it. Okay, so they can take the citizenship. Understood? Understood. So we have seen the acquisition. Now in Union and its territory, what happened is I missed a topic. Union and its territory. So we saw till Article 14 only, right? Sorry, Article 4 only we saw. We saw how a territory can be added, but we did not see what is the procedure with which we can give away a territory to some other country. Okay, that part I did not explain there. Okay, so I'm sorry for that. So let us do that now. Very small part only. Okay, no need to worry. Giving away Indian territory. How we can give away Indian territory? You can do it only by a constitutional amendment. This is given by judiciary. Don't get confused. Actually, I did not do this topic under union mixed territory, small one, and I just jumped to citizenship. So we are holding on to citizenship and coming back to complete this small portion. Okay. So constitutional amendment, judiciary. To add a new territory to India, simple majority that we know. But to give away a territory from India, we have to go for a constitutional amendment. But if it is a disputed area, disputed territory, and in order to resolve the border dispute, if you want to give the disputed territory, it can be given by an executive decision. Okay, constitutional amendment, judiciary and disputed territory. Okay, executive decision. Now, what is an executive decision? Decision by the Prime Minister itself. The Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers, they can sign and then give a disputed territory. Now, you may ask, sir, Pakistan occupied Kashmir, can we give in this way? Whether if the Prime Minister likes, can he give it? See, a disputed territory means it should be claimed by both countries. Both countries should claim it. Not only that, there should be mutual recognition of the claim. I'll explain you in simple terms. Okay. Suppose POK is there, Pakistan occupied Kashmir. India should claim it. Pakistan also should claim it. That is okay. But India should recognize that Pakistan is also claiming and it's a disputed territory. Likewise, Pakistan also should recognize. We are also claiming it. India is also claiming we are at dispute. That area is. So whether area is a disputed area itself should be recognized by government first. Okay. So Akshay Chin region, we are not declaring it as a disputed territory. Arunachal Pradesh, China says it's a disputed territory. We are not. We are saying no, it's not a disputed territory. But with Bangladesh, no, before resolving this enclave, so before resolving some dispute, some of the small areas we said yes, it is a disputed territory. We agreed with Bangladesh. Once we agreed, it was easy to transfer those areas to Bangladesh easily by an executive decision. So disputed territory is not really disputed. I mean, you don't think that, if the world calls it disputed territory, we'll accept. We have to recognize that it is a disputed territory. Pakistan occupied Kashmir is a disputed territory for the entire world. In United Nations, they mention it as a disputed territory. But we do not accept. We never recognize that. We say that Jammu and Kashmir is integral part to India, including Pakistan occupied Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. Recently in September month also in the United Nations, this was the conflict. Okay, so in fact, the representative for United Nations, we have chosen a Naga person, the IFS officer who represents India in United Nations during the United Nations General Assembly is a person from Nagaland, from Naga community. Okay, and technically he looks like Chinese. So just to assert that Arunachal Pradesh is part of India. Okay, and to propagandize to the world, we are doing it. Okay. So now with China also, what is happening in the border? First in the border, first India and China should sit together and demarcate what is disputed territory. Once they have declared a disputed territory, then they can for resolution. In many a place, okay, both of us are not concurring. Okay, so the area we claim, they also claim, and we do not accept what China is doing. Because once you recognize something as a disputed territory, which means you may give it easily. Okay, so that will not be auguring well for anybody. See, supposing a prime minister comes to you and says that a piece of territory has gone to some foreigner, definitely you will be angry with the prime minister. That is why, even though the Chinese has occupied 1,000 square kilometers in Ladakh region, recently, they have already occupied in India. That is the fact. But however, our prime minister, said no, Chinese is inside our land. That is because, even a small piece of territory, if you are giving without any gain, definitely you will be criticized. Okay. Even in case of Bangladesh, exchange of enclaves, you see the total area that is given by India to Bangladesh is more compared to the total area Bangladesh is given back to India. Problem is solved. Now, smooth administration, that is okay. But at that time, opposition party heavily criticized the government for doing it. Okay. Fine. But anyway, now giving away territory from India, normal part of Indian territory, what is that? It is through a constitutional amendment. It is through a constitutional amendment. How to remember this? Okay. Simple. If they have said giving a territory to some other country is simple majority, the ruling party would sell the country. Because simple majority means Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha can easily pass law. So whenever they want, they can pass a law and give a territory to some other country. Okay, it should not happen like this. That is why the court said, judiciary said it should be a constitutional amendment. So you need to get a large majority support of the opposition in order to transfer your territory to some other country. Okay. Some of you usually ask this question. In offline class, there will be a lot of questions, relevant questions also. Okay, and specific questions they'll ask. Okay, but nowadays this online mode, I think we are losing the connect. Okay, we hope things comes back to normal, so we all meet in academy offline classes. Classes will be more interesting there. Okay, so in one of the class, people ask me, sir, why should a studied IAS officer, IPS officer should work under a uneducated politician? Politician is not educated. Okay, but why should a IAS officer should go and fold his hands and be there? See, an IAS, IPS officer is an educated person. And that too, compared to a normal person, you are hyper educated, I should say. more knowledge, more understanding, okay, and good skill sets. And IAS, IPS is also permanent. Okay, so if you give full powers to a permanent institution like IAS, IPS, they will become, very absolute. They'll become dictators. They will not listen to people. They'll think whatever they think is correct. There'll be no accountability, and sometimes they may sell the country also. Okay, so see, it is the educated person is a problem. See the social media, no WhatsApp. Who's fighting largely? Okay, those people who have studied. Okay, if a person has studied Savarkar, another person have studied Ambedkar. Okay, they'll be fighting Manusmriti versus modern law. Okay, now what happens if you see the profile of all these people? They're all educated only. Okay, educated people only create divisions very sharply. Okay, because they have the intellectual background to do that. Okay, but now we are giving full powers to the politicians, but we are making them temporary. 5 years, every 5 years they have to come and get mandate from the people. So there is a balance. The country will not be solved, or country will not go to the control of some other people. The permanent bureaucracy will keep on ensuring that continuous governance is taking place. The politicians, will be having all powers, but for a shorter period of time. So neither could be completely corrupt. There is a check and balance. The politician will check the permanent bureaucracy. The permanent bureaucracy will aid and advise the politicians by their expertise. Same time, politicians cannot be full powerful, because the nitty-gritty of governance is known to IAS, IPS only. So this is how they create the check. So that is why world over we divide between politicians and bureaucracy. Okay, so bureaucracy is expert organization, brilliant, informed institution, whereas politicians are the accountable institutions where people can ask questions. If they don't do, they directly go and ask question to the people. Okay, so that is why we are having this arrangement. So we cannot give IAS, IPS full powers. Then at one point of day, okay, everything will be gone. Okay, fine. Because educated will do corruption in a scientific way, without even knowing what is corruption. No? Or you cannot legally catch that person. Like that, they will do corruption. So that is why there should be a mix of both. Okay, a temporary political person and a permanent bureaucrat. Okay, fine. So now giving away a territory through a constitutional amendment, fine. Now there is an issue, Kachadiv issue. There is an island between India, okay, and Sri Lanka. It was given to Sri Lanka by Indira Gandhi, just by a constitutional order, executive order. She signed a letter and said that, okay, I'll give it to you. Jokingly, some politicians in Tamil Nadu will say that Indira Gandhi and Bandaranaike, the then Prime Minister of Sri Lanka, were close friends, childhood friends, because the father of Indira Gandhi and father of Bandaranaike were the Prime Ministers of respective countries, and they were friends, 1950s. Okay, so now Bandaranaike is a childhood friend of Indira Gandhi. So it was a birthday for Bandaranaike, and Indira Gandhi called and asked, what do you want? Bandaranaike said that, I'm longly asking for this Kachadiv Island from you. Why can't you give that as a birthday gift? And she said, okay, just hold back your phone and see the fax machine. Order is coming straight away. But that's a joke. Okay, actually, this is, they say, to tell how easily Indira Gandhi took Kachadiv and gave it to Sri Lanka without even consulting the politicians of Tamil Nadu or government of Tamil Nadu. It's not required to consult the politicians, but at least you need to consult the governor and chief minister. That was not done. Okay. Now, after seeing all these things, is it justified to shift Kachadiv to Sri Lanka? Okay. Tamil Nadu's viewpoint is that Kachadiv is the original part of Indian territory. That is its normal part of Indian territory. It was not a disputed territory. So a normal part of Indian territory, if you have to give, how we have to give it? Constitutional amendment. But you have not done a constitutional amendment. Indira Gandhi have just passed the executive order and she has transferred Kachadiv to Sri Lanka. Okay. Now, ask this question again. this, what did central government say? The central government is going to the court of law and saying, see, Kachadip is a disputed territory. So disputed territory, we can give it through executive decision. So what Indira Gandhi did was right. Even now, central government stand is that only. The case is in the Supreme Court. Okay, we'll have to wait when the Supreme Court is coming out with judgment. Supreme Court is preferentially giving judgments in other cases, but these cases are put in back burner. Let's wait. Okay, so first, the Supreme Court has to confirm whether Kachadip is a disputed territory or original part of Indian territory. If it is original part of Indian territory, then we will require a constitutional amendment to ratify the transfer of Kachadip to Sri Lanka. If it is a disputed territory, then what Indira Gandhi did was correct. So we'll have to wait for the confirmation of the court of law. And if you ask my opinion, sir, whether Kachadip retrieval is very important, because most of the politicians talk about retrieving Kachadip from Sri Lanka. So even last week there was a news, some Tamil Nadu fishermen were chased away by the Sri Lankan Navy. Okay, and one minister of Sri Lanka said that he was happy to know that. Okay, and there was a large criticism in the media also. Okay, why he said like that and all. Okay, fine. Now every time a Sri Lankan issue comes, we say Kachadip has to be retrieved. The small island has to be retrieved. Can we do it? We can do so only by the approval of Sri Lanka, but Sri Lanka already said they won't give Kachadip. Point one. Unilaterally, can we take it? Yes, we can. But if you do that, other countries which has made treaties with India will not obey India. See, international relations is a gentleman game, gentleman agreement. You give a promise, okay, other people will keep the promise. You break the promise, other person will also break the promise. This is what we are asking with China. We're telling that we have agreed something on border, so please follow that. Don't breach the agreement. Okay. So now we cannot go for it also, okay, unilaterally taking it up. Now, why we are asking for Kachadip? They're telling that fisherman problem will be solved. What is the fisherman problem? There is no fish in Indian territorial waters. So that is why they are going to Sri Lankan waters. Now, by taking Kachadip, will it be retrieved? In my viewpoint, no. Because you have depleted the fish resources, okay, in these places. And even when Tamil Nadu fishermen travel to Andhra Pradesh, there is a fight between Tamil Nadu fishermen and Andhra Pradesh related to the fishing on their respective territorial waters. So when it is the case within the state of India itself, of course, we have to develop the growth of fishes in this Indian territorial waters. So the fisheries department should undergo controlled breeding of fishes and ensure that the fish population is retrieved. Okay, so proper management is done, and India can encourage the Indian fishermen to go for deep sea fishing. And there is also another problem. We are using trawlers. Where trawlers means trawlers will put the net to the ground and they will take everything in the sea. Okay, it's not just a part, like you're fishing. Trawlers will almost, it will gather huge amounts of fish. That will be productive for single time fishing. So that time the fisherman will get a lot of profit. But in future, even the small fishes will come along with the big fish. So what happens in future? You don't have fish. So there are types of fishing where the net size, the gap between the nets should be bigger, so that only big fish is caught, smaller fishes are not caught. In future, you have left some fishes. Okay, so these kind of measures, the government has to take. Okay, or they can talk with the Sri Lankan government and go for joint development of the Sri Lankan waters and Indian waters. Okay, so that would be more rational and more possible way of doing it. Okay. And with respect to Kachadip, when Indira Gandhi transferred this island to the Sri Lankan government, she has retrieved she has reserved 2 rights for Indians. That is, Indians can dry their nets, fishing nets in this island. Indian fishermen can use this island for fishing related purposes. Even though it is with Sri Lanka, okay, Indian fishermen's rights are reserved by the agreement. Okay. And it's no inhabitation in that island. Nobody is there also in that island. Okay, so Okay, and some people say, sir, for making Sri Lanka bend to us, Kachativu can be used as an issue because Sri Lanka has this tendency. Okay, always they will play with India and China. They will come to India. If India says no, they will go to China. And then they'll come to India also say, see, China is giving us this. What about you? Okay, and India also no other word has to give. Okay, so the one country which gains because of Indo-China conflict is Sri Lanka. Okay, so now if you want Sri Lanka to keep under Indian domain, Indian control, okay, even though we don't have the intention of getting back Kachadivu, we have to keep asking for Kachadivu, just like what China is doing with the borders. No, China is fighting for borders which is uh, uh, worth nothing for. It is inhabited. You cannot take any mineral resources. Even strategically, is not certain borders. I'm speaking. Certain borders they're claiming is strategically not important to them. But still, why they're keeping this problem alive? In order to keep India under the hook. Every time India creates a problem to China, China will come and attack in the border. And you guys should remember that we also were creating a lot of things to contain China. Okay, firstly, in United Nations, we passed a resolution. We joined hands with USA. We said we will share logistical arrangements. We will exchange sensitive military information with USA, and we increased more good relation with Japan and Australia. Recently, we have created a Quad meeting also. And in South China Sea, okay, we are supporting Vietnam, Philippines, and other Southeast Asian countries. We're supporting ASEAN. Okay, we did not agree with the Belt and Road Initiative of the China. When all other countries joined, India refused to join it. RCEP, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, we did not sign. China expected that India should sign this RCEP so they can flood India with its goods, but India did not sign. Okay, so that is why China is coming. Now China is coming the border issue to warn India. See, if you are going to act against me in the world stage, I'm going to create problem in your doorstep. That is what happening now. And India is so assertive. This time we are so assertive. We are saying that whatever you do in the border, we will promote our interest in the international level. Okay, because China is growing so powerful that it will overtake American economy very soon. Very soon it will overtake American economy, and USA, China may become the world power which dominates all other countries. There is an immense possibility for that. Okay, so that is why we want to assert our place also. While China is growing, we should also be a substantial power. Okay, so some people say that Kachadivu issue should be made as a continuous issue just to keep Sri Lanka in the loopholes. If you give suggestion in that way, I would agree. Yes, okay, then we can demand Kachadivu regularly. Okay, otherwise, what is said by Tamil politicians telling that retrieving Kachadivu will solve fisherman problem is a hoax. I don't agree with that. They may be having certain justification because as we research the problem, we come to the point. The problem is non-availability of fish. So you create fish rather than adding more territories to India. Even if you add Kachadivu, the increased territorial waters does not have enough fish for Tamil Nadu fishermen. That is the problem. So is anybody from southern districts of Tamil Nadu, okay, don't be angry with me. I'm telling you informed opinion, okay? You won't find these things in the social media. Social media will tell the other story. Very good, very good. Some of you are asking, sir, Berbari Union dispute. Can it be given as an example? In fact, it is the Berbari Union dispute. That is, Berbari Union is a territory which was given from India to then Pakistan, then East Pakistan, now Bangladesh. So that is where people came and filed a case in the court of law telling, can government transfer the land just like that? The court ordered it should be a constitutional amendment. It should be done through a constitutional amendment. Oh, that's a good news here from Mageshwar. From November 16th, government has ordered to reopen college school in Tamil Nadu. Okay, so hopefully institute also opens. Yes, yes, I know. Shrinika is asking for Kachadivu question if they are asking. Can we conclude the same way I said it? Yes, we can say. See, I have made a balanced view. Okay, so in both cases, I have talked about national interest. and I'm not giving up the fisherman interest also. Okay, if you say Kachadev has to be retrieved, okay, blindly, there is no justification for it. Except for that, there is no constitutional amendment for that. That is the only strong argument. Good, good. So now there is another topic. Okay, evolution of states. Which state came in which year? Okay, there is a chapter, or there is a portion in our syllabus, post independence consolidation. Post independence consolidation. Which means nothing but it talks about evolution of states. After freedom, how we consolidated, reorganized the states. Okay, the other word for reorganization of states is consolidation. So under this chapter, you will be given a special sessions. Okay, classes will be taken for you. So now I am leaving that area. In detailed explanation, territorial consolidation, linguistic consolidation, tribal consolidation, okay, Dalit consolidation. Okay, so all these things will be spoken up in that class. So as of now, let's not duplicate the topic. Okay, fine. Any doubts? Okay. So let us come back to this Citizenship Act of 1955. No, one question is asked by Raj. PR, permanent residence is similar to citizenship? No, you could be a permanent resident, but not a citizen of a country. Or permanent residence may result in citizenship, but it is not always same. So take the example of NRI, non-residential Indians. They live in some other country. They are Indian citizens, but they are permanent residents of other country. So permanent residence is not same as the citizenship. So just like Shivapriya asked, green card and citizenship. Green card is nothing but permanent residence. It is not same as the citizenship in USA. But people are happy to receive green card because if you receive green card, most probably you will end up as Indian US citizen. Okay. Next is we have to talk about how laws of citizenship. By Citizenship Act of 1955, laws of citizenship. Okay, so renunciation, termination, and deprivation. Renunciation, termination, and deprivation. Now I'll explain one by one. Renunciation is voluntarily giving up citizenship. As I think one of the students was speaking, no, like, sir, if you want to get citizenship of other country, should we go and voluntarily give up our citizenship? Yes, Sivapriya, you asked that doubt. Now, renunciation is going to Indian government and saying that I don't want Indian citizenship. Please give me the citizenship of sorry. Please take away my citizenship. I've already got the citizenship of some other country. So renunciation is voluntarily giving up Indian citizenship. We are permitted to do that. And what is termination? Okay, termination. I'll just give you a outline. Termination means whenever you acquire the citizenship of some other country, at that time your citizenship is lost. Whenever you acquire the citizenship of some other country, immediately Indian citizenship is lost. Okay, dear friends. Okay, so we will wind up here. Now you have been asking certain questions I did not answer in between. So I'll take those questions and answer now. Okay, the next class, that is tomorrow, right? Yeah, tomorrow we will be talking in depth termination and deprivation. Okay, termination, I've just given you outline. I'll explain termination deprivation in detail tomorrow. Okay, any doubts, you can click on the hand raise button and ask me, I will answer. Even if you might have text your question, please click on the hand raise button and ask question to me, because I cannot roll back on the chat box. Sometimes, it's very difficult. Yes. Yes, Shubhpriya.
Good evening, sir. Sir, my doubt is if a new state is formed, we are making changes in Schedule 1 and Schedule 4. Schedule 4 for Rajya Sabha. So, what about, sir, Lok Sabha seats?
Lok Sabha, there is a process called as delimitation process. We will be seeing that delimitation process later.
Okay, sir. That's all, sir. Thank you.
2076983.
Hello, sir. Can you explain on the registration and naturalization once?
Come again.
Can you explain on the registration and naturalization, sir? On the topic, sir, related to the citizenship.
Registration, Indian connect இருக்கு இந்தியா ஏதோ ஒரு கனெக்ட், ஏதோ அவங்க ஃபோர் ஃபாதர்ஸோ தாத்தாவோ அப்பா யாராவது அவங்க கல்யாணம் பண்ணிக்கிறவங்க இந்தியனா, அந்த பட்சத்துல வந்து அவங்களுக்கு இந்தியன் சிட்டிசன்ஷிப் கொடுப்பாங்க. அது வந்து நேஷனலைசேஷன் கம்ப்ளீட். பெஸ்ட் எக்ஸாம்பிள் மதர் தெரேசாக்கு வந்து நேஷனலைசேஷன் படி தான் கொடுத்துருப்பாங்க சிட்டிசன்ஷிப். சோனியா காந்தி
also got your naturalization on there, sir?
இல்ல, ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் அவங்க இந்தியனை மேரி.
Okay.
அதனால ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன்.
I have one small doubt, sir. Why she cannot become PM in India, or she can become, or she doesn't want to become PM?
I'll explain. Article 16 varna.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, done.
Thank you.
Thank you. 34875.
Sir, can you able to hear me?
Yes, Mahesh.
Sir, I have a doubt regarding that citizenship with respect to that registration. You said that it is related to that connect, Indian connect. Somebody who has a connect, Indian connect, they can call for citizenship through registration, sir. In that, I want to take one case. For example, if one person I think he may have got settled from British. For example, during this British period, person, I think from Tamil Nadu, some people they were migrated to Burma and some other countries, even including Singapore and all. And after the independence, if I mean their descendants, their children and their grandchildren, after independence, they may think after that Burma gave what Burma did is Burma, after it got independence, they decided to strip their citizenship, that is Burmese citizenship. So they decided to come back to India. Those persons who come back to India, how will they prove that they are having Indian connect? That means they should show that their parents or their grandparents are having Indian. That means Indian the citizen.
Yes.
How
Yes.
will they prove that That means they should show that some, I think, their birth certificate or some other.
Something has to be shown that they migrated from Tamil Nadu to Canada. Some document must be given. That is why registration is discretion of the government, I said. No. So they will check the genuinity case by case. The government will give citizenship or not. In fact, this is the problem. There are many people in Chennai, especially not Madras, settled from Myanmar. No, they are here. They are not able to get Indian citizenship. They are continuing with permanent residential certificate in India. That is the problem. If you are not able to show any documents, it's not difficult to get the Indian citizenship. And the registration is also not mandatory. It is the discretion of the government.
Okay, sir.
Okay, Mahesh. Thank you. Thank you very much. This is a 8825. You can unmute and speak.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
So if under termination, if a person acquires a foreign citizenship and his Indian citizenship is automatically terminates, then what's the need of renunciation? So the
No, it is renunciation is government gives you an opportunity. Termination is even if you're not informing, it will be getting cancelled. That is why termination. I'll tell the significance of termination with the scenario in the next class.
okay, sir.
You'll understand.
Okay.
Yes. Please click on the hand raise button. Okay, okay. So see this, usually I give answers only in English. Specifically, if some of you want me to speak in Tamil, then I'll switch over to Tamil and also I'll explain that in English. Okay, any doubts? So shall we wind up the session? Okay, take care. Good night.